Standing out on a pillar of rock in the middle of a boiling lake of lava is our next shrine, Moa's Shrine. And I'll go through how this is laid out and then give you some thoughts about how you can run it and what I've seen when I've been running it. So, like many of our other shrines so far, there are in Area 6A, the kind of uh, front yard, if you will, to this shrine. There are four Jaculis, which fit with the Moa theme. However, as I've said in some of the other videos, these Jaculis really should not be a challenge for the party. So if you want to run them to deplete resources or just keep the theming in, that's fine, but the combat itself probably won't be that interesting at this point. Uh, I just don't see these creatures. They have very few hit points. They're easy to hit. They don't have any special abilities that are really that impactful at this point. So if you don't want more kind of filler combat, you could feel free to drop them. But that said, so you get through the entrance and you get to the doorway at 6B. This has another plaque with a message in Old Omuan that is probably more helpful than some of the others so far, urging the players to investigate secrets. Uh, and then as they pass through the doorway, they will find a hallway that appears to have a bunch of arrow slits in it. Uh, Spoilers, there's nothing behind these arrow slits. They're just there, I think, to trick you. The floor does have three swinging pit traps. You can have some fun with deciding which way these pit traps cover, but it's worth noting that right now the players can find them, but they're not active. They won't open. So again, kind of tricking the players and trying to show them a problem that isn't a problem, at least not yet. And then when we move into Area 6C, there is a mosaic on the floor showing Mo as part of the Legend of the Nine Gods. There is a pedestal with a puzzle cube in the middle of the room, and the most defining feature of this room is there are 12 stone archer statues all around the edges, all pointing their arrows at the cube on the pedestal in the middle. I wonder if it's a clue. And then there are two secret doors to the south, one to the east and one to the west. To continue, and it's worth noting the trap in this room. If the puzzle cube in this room is removed from the pedestal, the archers will all activate. Um, they don't do a whole lot of damage. They do about 5 damage apiece. They don't move around, but they do have pretty high AC and they have 30 hit points. So, depending on who's in this room, that could be kind of gnarly or it could mean almost nothing. If you have a paladin or a barbarian, it's probably not going to matter much. If you have a cleric that has spirit guardians, this room is actually a joke, depending on how they roll. But the players don't know that, right? So this should be a pretty fun surprise for them if they pick that cube up. Otherwise, if they're smart enough to check for or find passively the secret doors, they can go through those and onto the secret doors. 6D on the west side has a room full of cobwebs that has a statue of a serpent in it. It's missing its head, and there's a stone cube on the floor. If they bring the cube from 6D into 6C, that also activates the archers. I believe both of these also activate the pit traps. So I think the idea here is if the players pick up one of the two false cubes, it activates the archers and it also activates the pit traps. So that can be a fun surprise if people are retreating. And then in room 6E, this has a serpent that is still got its head, a serpent statue that still has its head. And there is a cube in this serpent's mouth, and that is the real cube. Taking it activates nothing, and you can just leave. That's pretty much the layout of this shrine and what's going on in it. I think I kind of already said most of what I thought about this shrine. I think the composition of your party is really going to have, and their tactics in battle is going to have a huge effect on what happens in 6C if they activate the archers, and also how they deal with the bit traps. So again, I think it's an interesting shrine, because I think it kind of teaches conflicting things, and I think that's a theme in a lot of the traps as this campaign goes on. But I guess it's maybe a good lesson that there are no obvious solutions, because uh, all of the cubes, I think, from a player perspective, seem equally valid. Uh, and there's a lot of misdirection in this shrine, but it doesn't come at too high a price unless you have a whole bunch of squishies coming in. Then it could be nasty. But I think that pretty much covers Moa's Shrine. So thanks for watching.